Inflation is soaring. Our economy is on a downward spiral. We're in a recession. I don't have to be told we are. Thursday, during an appearance on CNN's Newsroom, and this is where it gets really scary, folks, so I want you to listen, and I want you to share this clip if you already hadn't seen it on social media earlier today. But Biden's National Economic Council Director, this clown named Brian Deese, defended Biden's remarks earlier in the day, claiming that Americans are just going to have to deal with the higher gas prices, and we got to blame Putin. It's all his fault, right? But what you have to listen to is what he says. Listen to the words, because they're now saying the quiet things about the global agenda and the New World Order and what these liberals want to do to our great nation. They're telling it to you. They're saying it out loud. Watch, listen.
They say that this could be a long war measured in years, and I think everybody understands why this is happening, but is it sustainable? What do you say to those families who say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years. This is just not sustainable.
Well, what you heard from the president today was a clear articulation of the stakes. This is about the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm.
The liberal world order, and we have to stand firm. That should scare the living hell out of every red-blooded American. White, black, yellow, purple, green, libertarian, Green Party, Tea Party, Democrat, I don't care who you are. Did you not hear what he said? There's no denying this globalist agenda now, folks. They're weakening our dollar at every chance they get. Did you not see what happened on Wall Street this week? Huh. If you have investments, I'm sure you did. Wall Street racking up more losses. The market closed out at its worst quarter since the pandemic. Show them the numbers. S&P 500 falls 9%. Fourth consecutive drop. Benchmark index now down 21%, says all-time high at the beginning of the year. Top it off, the S&P 500's performance in the first half of 2022 was the worst since the first 6 months of the 1970s. And for folks old enough to remember, I was a baby, it was pretty bad back then. Remember the gas lines, the food lines? Speaking of our money, we've reported to you in the past that Joe Biden, and here's another headline to remind you in case you forgot, is attempting to add almost 80-some thousand new IRS agents. To do what? To go after you, your money. Particularly, they want to go after small business owners to bleed you dry of your hard-earned money while you're chasing your American dream. And they're giving it away to millions of illegals. Not to mention the other day we reported he bought tons of ammo for the IRS. I'm still trying to figure out that one, the 800,000 rounds. My next guest, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, is introducing legislation trying to stop the overreach of Biden's IRS. Gaetz's new bill reads, notwithstanding any other provision of law, the Internal Revenue Service may not acquire, by purchase or otherwise, any ammunition after the date of the enactment of this act. Here now to discuss this bill and what in the holy you-know-what is going on with the IRS and with Biden and our economy, representing Florida's first, Congressman Matt Gaetz. Matt, welcome back. I want to go back to that soundbite, though, because I know we had you on to talk about this bill, but when I heard that Brian Clown, whatever, D, say that yesterday, and it's blowing up all over social media, Matt, they're saying the quiet things out loud. Anybody that's not scared as hell right now has got their head in the sand.
I think what you heard from Brian Deese is that the pain is the point. When rising gas prices crush American families, the Biden administration doesn't think that that's an ancillary negative side effect. They actually think that that will be a motivator to get people to reject carbon and fossil fuels and to go buy an electric vehicle. When they have inflation that makes groceries, medicine, other essentials unaffordable, they do so to try to get more and more of the public hooked on the government and entitlement programs and socialism. So this is not an accident. This is a specific plan to try to limit the freedoms of Americans, to try to bring people across the border illegally who have not yet been completely let down by liberal policies in this country, like so many in blue states and in blue cities. And then they want to make sure that the federal government has the ability to crush you if necessary. It is amazing to me that over an 11-year period, the IRS spent like almost $1 million a year on ammunition. They only have about 2,000 law enforcement agents, and I always assumed like the heaviest artillery they would need would be a calculator. I imagine them in like green eye shades in a cubicle somewhere, not busting doors down for the armed and dangerous tax cheats. But it shows that they want the power and they want the American people to have as little freedom and as little agency as possible. And that is truly the frame that should frighten us all.
Yeah, you know, I'm watching Joe an interview. I think it was earlier this week before he went overseas. He was sitting on a set. There were a male and a female host, and he claimed that he doesn't consider a DUI a felony. We see them let smash and grab people go. They're not putting rapists and murderers behind bars. I mean, all these folks breaking the laws. Everybody comes in. But our biggest threat now, we have to arm up IRS agents and go after, as you saw that headline from CNBC, by the way, he wants to go after small business owners to make sure they're paying their fair share. That's one of our biggest concerns. And was I right? Was it like 800,000 rounds, or was it 8 million? How many rounds did they buy the other week?
Oh, yeah, they've been buying rounds at a heavy clip, but I think your numbers are pretty close. But at the end of the day, I'm just looking to get a moratorium on the purchase of ammunition, because on one hand, you've got the Biden government scooping up as much ammo as they possibly can and stockpiling it. And then with the other hand, they're actually making it more difficult for Americans to exercise their natural God-given Second Amendment rights. I mean, I was so frustrated with my fellow Republicans who joined with Democrats to pass red flag laws, essentially. I mean, a program to bribe states to violate the constitutional rights of the citizens is not a thing that the federal government should be considering or enacting, and certainly not with the help of Republicans. So I think we've correctly laid out the series of crises that the Biden administration has created on purpose at the border, in our streets, in our economy. And now the question is, what are we going to do about it? If the voters give us the power to actually go in and hold this administration accountable, will we do it? Because I remember during the Paul Ryan years, we had control and we didn't send out a single subpoena to some of these agencies that had gone completely rogue, even under Donald Trump's presidency. So I think we have to get a lot tougher as Republicans, and we have to be dogged, and we have to have the vision of oversight first.
Yeah, I'd like to join in with your sentiment and say I hope that Republicans get tougher. If the American people give Republicans back power this November, will they get the job done? That's what and I'm sure millions of other patriots are worried about. Matt, you'll commit here right now. We take back control. You're going to push for that, for the accountability with these rogue agencies, these woke agencies like the IRS.
Yeah, but we have work to do right now. I mean, we are in the thrust of the primary election season where we're choosing which Republicans are going to make up our team. And so if voters send us back people like Liz Cheney, I think the chance of having real tough oversight on the Biden administration is not really all that feasible. But if we get good America First candidates, people who are driven by fidelity to the Constitution, I think that we will have a lot better chance to see that through, because we have a trust gap even with our own voters as Republicans, because we promised them that if we got control, we would repeal Obamacare. We didn't do that. And so now we have to keep promises to rebuild that trust if we are in fact chosen to lead the House of Representatives in the upcoming session.
You got it. Okay, then let's do it, because Americans need some trust back in government right now. You've seen the polls. It ain't there. And you're right. If we don't pick the right candidates, things are only going to get worse for all of us. Matt Gaetz, Florida Congressman, representing the 1st District down there. Matt, have a wonderful 4th of July holiday weekend. You take care of yourself, brother.
All right. Hey, thank you for having me, and always want to thank you for your military service around our nation's birthday. Never a bad time to thank a veteran.
Yep.
Take it easy, Dan.
Appreciate that.